Welcome to episode number 4 of the Golf Front Podcast. My name is Brett Bevilacqua. I'm a realtor with Carolina Property Sales in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Today, I am excited to present one of my favorite courses, Talamore. Built in 1991 by famed architect Rees Jones, son of legendary golf course designer Robert Trent Jones, Talamore Golf Resort is one heck of a golf course. Rees Jones also designed Thousand Oaks Golf Club, Black Lake Golf Club, Pinehurst No. 7, and redesigned Bethpage Black, Duke University Golf Club, as well as many others. Talamore is just 4.5 miles from downtown Pinehurst in Southern Pines. For visitors to the area, check out their website for some first-class lodging options available at Talamore. I don't know much more of the history of Talamore other than when they opened, they used llamas as caddies. Yes, you heard me, llamas as caddies. If you don't believe me, there are still a few llamas on site near the 14th hole. Before we get started, I just want to go on record and say if I had to pick one course in the Sandhills to play every day, I would probably choose Talamore. The golf course is something else. There's quite a bit of elevation change, the layout incorporates a good bit of water, and wetlands greet the player off more than a few tee boxes. There's quite a bit of sand on the course, as I found out on the 11th and on the 13th. There are a number of green front bunkers where you will have to chip back towards the tee to escape. Talamore plays over 6,800 yards from the back tees. The course has a par of 71 with a 73.2 rating and slope of 140. From the white tees, it's a tad over 6,500 with a 67.4 rating and a 121 slope, making it a whole heck of a lot of fun for the average player. The greens are Champion Bermuda, and they are fast, true, and as consistent as any course I have ever played. Pin placement was generous each time I have played the course, and in a few cases, funneled putts close to the cup. What I really enjoyed was the ability to hold on to the greens. I had no issue, even with long irons, to keep shots on the green, and unlike other courses, didn't putt any long putts off the greens. Talamore starts off with a par 5 first hole that plays 560 from the whites and 623 from the back tees. There's trouble off the tee to the right that is tough to clear from either tee box, but you can safely navigate by staying on the left side of the fairway. From the hazard, it is uphill to a large green that has a very large trap left side front. The second hole is a medium-length par 3 with 2 monster bunkers front center and front right. You will want no part of them if you like a par or even a bogey. The green is very slick and slopes left to right. You catch a break on the par 4 third. The fairway is wide, straight, and doesn't feel quite as long as the scorecard reads. There is a bunker in the rough off to the left that even I would have trouble finding, and the green is protected by a large trap to the left and a small trap to the right. The green on 3 was much more friendly than the first 2 holes. 4 is a short par 5, but watch out for the trap in the middle of the fairway that is very reachable. From the white tees, I was able to reach in 2, but that would be a tall order from the tips. The green is oval-shaped, and if you try to get there in 2, play it left with a little fade, and none of the 3 traps on the right should come into play. The 5th is a downhill par 3 that has 2 sets of tee boxes. There is a set of tee boxes that go north to south, and another that go east to west, all downhill and all to the same green. I have only played the north-south version of the hole, which I believe is longer. I have no idea why Talamore has this setup, but it could lead to an interesting podcast one day where I interview course pros and greenskeepers about some of the quirky holes in the Sandhills. The 6th is such a fun hole. Though short, just 305 yards from the whites, it's uphill and the fairway narrows as you approach the green. There is also a bit of wetlands in front of the tee that is sort of intimidating. Clearly, I am not the only one who feels this way, as last time I played everything was cut down, and there were hundreds of lost balls in this area. There are 2 bunkers on either side right before the green. If there is one thing I like to do, it's drive a green. I can't believe it took until the middle of the 4th episode to share that, but I really like driving greens. Been a while since I've driven a green, but every time I step on 6, I let it rip, and usually end up in one of the backyards on the right side. To be fair, I've been pretty close to driving the green on 6, and one day I'll get that 20-mile-an-hour gust at my back, and if they forget to water for a few days, I may just get there. The 7th and 8th are back-to-back dogleg lefts. That sounds strange, but there's no better way to put it. Both 7 and 8 also have elevated greens, and 7 is sloped back to front. I also have a bunch of trouble with the steep downhill slope just to the left of the 7th green, and putting from any location on the 8th green. As a rule, on 8 I can get on in regulation, from the fairway, the woods, the cart path, doesn't matter, on and 2 every time, but I am always about 60 feet from the pin. One thing about my game where no one can touch me, there is no one I have ever played golf with who can compete with me when it comes to leaving a birdie putt short. I am not talking about a foot or two, I am talking about putting for birdie and leaving it just about 16 feet from the pin. I just went and looked at my last 2 cards from Talamore, bogeys on 8. 3 putts. Every stinking time. Far and away, my favorite section of the course was 9 through 14. The 9th is a lot like the 6th, a short uphill par 4 that tempts you to go for the green off the tee, but there are harsh penalties, as in 2 deep bunkers right in front of the green. The approach on the 9th is sort of this tiered fairway thing they have going on, which, I don't know, I guess I always seem to be off in the woods or on the flat part, but I imagine if you were on the uphill part of it, it wouldn't be fun. The green, like most of Talamore greens, is gigantic and more or less level depending on the pin placement. The par 4 10th is a short dogleg right that once again is uphill. There is a generous landing area, but big hitters may try to cut the corner to get to the green. In my opinion, you are asking for trouble. The green is almost, but not quite, 2-tiered. During my round, the pin was placed in an area of the green that funneled the ball close to the pin. I really, really enjoy that aspect of Talamore. The 11th is a par 5 that plays around 500 yards, slight dogleg left, plenty of fairway mounds, a bunker on the right that should only bother the biggest of hitters. There's a bit of intermittent fairway and rough that you need to carry for your second shot, and the green is flanked by 2 traps, one front and center with another sod wall that will force you to hit back towards the tee if your sand game isn't world class. The first time I played Talamore, I shot a 9 on the 11th thanks to that gruesome bunker in front of the green. The 12th, a medium-length par 4 dogleg right that begs you to cut the corner, but there is a pair of traps that will get you if you end up a little short off the tee. Also, no shame in playing it smart by staying left off the tee. The hole just isn't that long. The green has a very large bunker on the left and a much smaller on the right. The green is incredibly slick and not an easy 2-putt by any means. The 13th is the shortest par 3 on the course, while 15, at nearly 190 yards from the whites, is by far the longest. 13 doesn't put up much of a challenge, but 15 has 2 pot bunkers that are oh so tough to get out of. Sandwiched between 13 and 15 is the llama pen and the wonderful 14th. If you are a righty with a fade, you'll probably kick back into the fairway thanks to the extreme slope on the right side rough. For those who draw, there is another strategically placed fairway bunker that will get you. I have placed my approach shot to the right of the green, and thanks to the hill, was kicked back onto the green. I didn't think I had a chance. I thought I was off the green by 30 yards. As I rode up on my cart, there I was, sitting in the middle of the green. This is one of those holes where you can let it rip, and chances are you'll be okay, even if, like me, you get a little erratic off the tee. 16 is awesome. There are mounds all over the fairway and rough. This is another hole where you can just let it rip because the landing area is quite expansive. I have even played out of the left side rough and had little trouble getting to the green. The 16th is long and plays about 400 yards from the whites. Keep in mind there is a break in the fairway about 250 yards or so off the tee, though that won't pose too much of a problem. 17 is the hole I always want to play again and again. A par 4 that, thanks to a downhill slope before the green, is makeable with a big tee shot. I've gotten very close on 2 occasions and hope to drive the green the next time I play Talamore. Watch out for a series of 3 bunkers on the right side, but if you can clear them, even if you go right, as I often do, the banks may kick you back into the fairway. I think that's where my affinity for Talamore comes from. So often on this course, there are features that will put errant shots back on course. 18 is a medium-length par 4 that brings you home with traps strategically placed down the middle of the fairway. There is also a small lake that isn't a problem to carry if you stay right, but challenges those of us that think we can crush our tee shots by going left to reduce the distance of our approach shot. The green is large, and I have had the opportunity to putt across the entire surface, and that didn't turn out well for me. I really can't say enough about Talamore. The course was flawless, especially the greens. There were very few wet areas despite a good bit of rain the night before one of my rounds. Drives on most of the holes rolled well, and more often than not, rolled to the center of the fairway. Though I sprayed more than my fair share of shots left and right, the course is maintained so well that even a hacker like myself can scramble out of the woods. The practice green just outside the pro shop is a must before starting your round. It is a good barometer of what the greens are like on the course. I can't get enough of this course. If you can't tell, it's one of my favorites. The quality of the course, the ability to score, and that it isn't overly easy or difficult. It isn't too long or too short. It's a treat for players of all skill levels. As I have said to other golfers and even on this podcast, if I had to pick just one course in the Sandhills to play for the rest of my life, I'm pretty sure it would be Talamore. Give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Talamore will run you anywhere from about $69 to $130 a player, depending on the time of day and season. There are also great deals for members, as I have been invited to play with a few who live on the course, and I can't wait to go back. For more information about Talamore, visit their website at www.talamoregolfresort.com or give them a call at 910-692-5884 to book a tee time. If you are looking for a place to live, you can't go wrong with the area in and around Talamore. The course has no shortage of really pretty golf front properties, and there is also quite a bit of new construction coming to market later in 2021. If you want the lowdown on Talamore or anywhere else in the Sandhills, give me a call at 845-365-3665 or send an email to brett@hmpfilms.com. We can discuss golf or real estate, or better yet, we can play 18 and you can see firsthand the very best part of the Sandhills. Once again, I'm Brett Bevilacqua with Carolina Property Sales. See you next time a few miles down the road at Beacon Ridge, where we will talk golf and golf front properties.